As if Trump wasn't embarrassing himself enough, Saudi Arabia just served up one of the most hilariously humiliating moments in American presidential history. You're gonna laugh at this one. Welcome back to Occupy Democrats. I'm David Reddish. So as you may know, Donald Trump is overseas in Saudi Arabia for a diplomatic summit. While meeting with Mohammed bin Salman, the Saudi crown prince who also once killed an American journalist and chopped him up with a bone saw, seriously, look it up, Trump managed to humiliate himself at just about every possible turn. First, he appeared to fall asleep during the press conference with bin Salman. Then he got lost trying to leave the room.
Signing on behalf of the United States, the Honorable Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America.
Maybe Trump was just following his nose? Want to know why? Stay with me. After Trump's little detour, he met with some members of the Saudi military where he committed a major breach of presidential protocol. Take a look. For the record, the commander-in-chief of the U.S. military, that is the president, does not salute members of foreign militaries. It's embarrassing because the salute, as you might know, symbolizes respect for his troops. In essence, Trump is therefore bowing to foreigners. But that's also nothing new. Trump just loves getting on his knees to Vladimir Putin, as we all know. In his same trip to Saudi Arabia, Trump also announced that he would lift sanctions on Syria because, in exchange, Syria would allow him to build Trump Tower Damascus.
Likewise, in Syria, which has seen so much misery and death, there is a new government that will hopefully succeed in stabilizing the country and keeping peace. That's what we want to see in Syria. They've had their share of travesty, war, killing, many years. That's why my administration has already taken the first steps toward restoring normal relations between the United States and Syria for the first time in more than a decade. I will be ordering the cessation of sanctions against Syria.
So, for the record, Syria has been designated a state sponsor of terrorism since 1979 and has faced sanctions ever since. Additional U.S. sanctions were imposed on the country in 2004 and again in 2011 after the regime of then-President Bashir al-Assad committed atrocities against his own people. Doesn't Donald Trump have such great taste in friends? And make no mistake, Trump does see these quid pro quos as a sign of friendship. He also loves to get gifts from his friends, like a $400 million plane from the nation of Qatar, or this little snack from the Saudis. Take a look. Yes, that is a real video taken from Saudi Arabia today. The Saudis set up a portable McDonald's to welcome Trump to their country. Trump just loves his fast food. Remember when he served McDonald's to the Clemson University Tigers in celebration of their victory in the 2019 NCAA football championship? Yeah. Numerous journalists, including Michael Wolff and Bob Woodward, have also reported that Trump eats McDonald's virtually every day. Not only does he love the great taste and negative health effects, he says it protects him from getting poisoned by his enemies. Of course they don't have to poison you, Donald. If you eat that much fast food, you're poisoning yourself. It's a miracle the man can still even breathe at this point. This also calls BS on Trump's physical earlier this year, in which his doctor described him as basically having the same body as Hugh Jackman. On the other hand, Trump probably has inhaled so many Mick preservatives at this point that he's basically already embalmed. So think about that one. And, in fairness to the Saudis, Mohammed bin Salman, despite his human rights violations, does desperately want to modernize Saudi Arabia and normalize relations with the world's democracies. He wants to root out the religious extremists, like ISIS, that keep Saudi Arabia in the past, expand their economy beyond oil, and become a Dubai-like tourist destination. He's even offered to recognize and normalize relations with Israel, which would basically kneecap Islamic terrorism worldwide. But it's still hilarious that rather than demand the Saudis apologize for killing journalists or, I don't know, offer to pay for the rebuilding of Gaza in hopes of establishing a Palestinian state, Trump welcomes them with open arms for a Big Mac. Perhaps it's stating the obvious at this point, but this president is a McBuffoon. This is Occupy Democrats.